those that don't respect us as citizens, those that have a distorted idea of what it means to be American, we don't do nothing but feed into it when we also remain bitter and continue to react to past situations and not change our overlook or our view of what citizenship is. And it's so beautiful. I think it was the title of Healthy Patriotism. I'm not sure what year that was. Imam Mohammed had a lecture titled Healthy Patriotism. And he said he was letting us know that African American people, that our circumstances won't change. Like how can we, I think he put it in short, one thing that stood out was how can we benefit from a thing if we haven't accepted it, if we reject it, you know? So how can we benefit from being citizens in the greatest country in the world, and even in this historic time that we're living in? You seeing the racism and bigotry and all in its throes of death, trying to bring back old ugliness and attacks on, and I never thought that I never could imagine. You never know what the evils that people are capable of, but I never thought that that we would turn around. We're witnessing violent wars all over the world in the name of fighting for I guess land and religion. They try to throw the Islam on the face because of the violence that's in these Muslim countries. And me being like most young African American people, not really in and from my culture, growing up in the culture from the 70s and the late 70s and the 80s and 90s, that and just in our society, me being a product of my environment wasn't conducive for me being too much into politics, you know, and you know, being a fan of Muhammad Ali and watching him saying that, you know, he didn't want to fight in Vietnam because he didn't know Vietnamese did anything to him. So that was my view when it came to politics. It wasn't until I was old enough to vote that I really even thought about the value of my citizenship as an individual. And I hear that that's one of the main problems even today, that most Americans that carry the same view, I'm one vote, it doesn't matter, when it's actually exactly the opposite. But I would chalk things up as, you know, that's white men. They the ones that want the power and the land and the money and everything. That's all those wars. That's white people fighting over that. You know, I don't care if they're Arabs, they're Europeans, they're Americans, whatever. Although there are many good African American people and people of all nationalities all over the world that are in the different military branches that are fighting because they're citizens, because they identify. But the circumstances that we find ourselves in don't allow us to put real value on these causes, I guess these big causes, governmental causes, because African Americans, we see the role of leadership almost non-existent in a real solid way. You know, it's more, we see ourselves and young African American men in a role more of servant than of master. You know, and at this time, there's being even more effort put against us feeling free spiritually. You know, it's one thing being physically free to go and do it and to compete and do what you can, and that's fulfilling for a human being, even if he meets challenges every day and his neighbor may go after the same challenge and succeed and advance in life, you know, and the same process he goes through, and he'll be trying to succeed in a similar manner and fail at every chance. But as long as he's physically free to keep trying, then that's fulfillment, because that's the world that I grew up in. I will see young black men trying anything and everything, working. They want to work. Not everybody's a criminal. I saw a commercial on television. They were promoting something in Chicago, and they went to some little small neighborhood. I think they found maybe 4 or 5 African American men that had the right spirit to talk about what it's like being black and growing up in the ghetto or whatever, or in the neighborhood. And I said, that's not the spirit. The violence and the criminal, you know, they were really talking to a mindset that they saw and that they wanted to hear. That's without television and radio. I know we could never do it, and I don't even think we did. We could do it if we had a no TV and radio week, just to try to cleanse the human being.
No TV all month here.
But hey, I don't watch TV. It don't come on, and the radio don't come on either. I'm getting hooked on Facebook because there's Muslims in my timeline. See, the dynamic is being changed when you find people with like minds and they start communicating together. I think you were saying that those like-minded people, it allows you to be able to grow in a more natural way, because a human being is a social creature first and foremost, you know. And the more we connect with each other, the more progress we're gonna make as individuals, because we're working as a group. And that's the natural process. But that's what they want to cut off. And the best way to cut that off is to start at the home. The basis of the society is the family. So if the husband, for one, the family and the society has been conditioned not to respect us as worthy of leadership or even human. But when we start demanding our manhood, then it's even harder on us, you know, because then, you know, here's this old Negro, this uppity Negro that think he knows something, and he got to be broken first before the sister even take a second look at him. You know, she got to break him. He got to show that he's willing to be punked out, broken down, and made weak. And then so he said, to heck with her. I'm not gonna give her all of me. I might give maybe 10 of her all of me. But until I find a woman that could respect me, then I'm not gonna give her the time of day. And that's why the sisters don't have men, because because the African American male is rejecting the put down. There's nothing worse that hurt a people than to put them down and they're innocent, and they don't have a way of proving their innocence. You know, they know they're innocent, but they have this stigma on it. So the only thing you can do is reject the charge. You say, well, I'm not accepting that. I'm not even going to give it any more attention. You know, and that's what's happening in our society. Yeah, it's heavy, but what's happening now? This America being this great country and this great power, is one of us that look like us, that's been leading and been changing the whole dynamics, of leadership and what it means to be a leader. He brought the human aspect, the intelligence that God has given everyone, and he's going outside of what the norm is, and showing how a leader can also be a human being and be a God-fearing person. So, and then you can't help but to see what everybody else see. I would watch a program. Oh, it was a movie. It was funny, and I usually fall asleep on movies at night, especially if I've been fasting. I watched what was the name of that movie we watched last? That comedy. You know, maybe the name ain't no good because I'm mentally blocked things but it was Will Ferrell. He's hilarious. And the African American what's his name? Kevin Hart. And he said he scared the rich white man in the car. All he saw was his brown skin, and so he wouldn't look at him no more because he saw brown skin. And this guy that he'd been washing his car, I guess, for 20 years or whatever. He know him, they friends, but all he saw was the brown skin. And that's our circumstance. That's the situation we in. So if they see your brown skin in a negative way, you know they noticed what color the president is. That's right. And so when they see President Barack Obama in the White House and lead the country and being a capable leader, no matter how many lies or how much deception, the fact is there that the best thing that ever happened to this country is President Barack Obama. And he looked like you and I. It's undeniable, you know. And that speaks to the human being. That's redemption, and that speaks to the human soul, even the human soul that has been, that hasn't seen any kindness, any humanity. And some of us come up like that. Because I know some young men, you know, I ain't gonna say me, but I know some young men that because they look a certain way, they don't get no love, not even from their family. You know, they think that because they look a certain way, you gotta be hard on them, it gotta be mean. So don't nobody smile, and then they ask you why you don't smile. I said, when's the last time somebody smiled at me? You don't smile when you see me, so why should I smile? Or why should I be happy? Why should I say good morning, good evening? You don't say good morning, you say nigga, you know. You say this, that, and the other. I know a lot of people, we pretend, y'all good people, but I know a lot of people that's African American and black that they take negative treatment and they what do you call it? They transpose it. And the negative treatment, they've somehow in their psychology, the human dynamic is so much that in their psychology they convert that into a positive thing. So if you say something nice to them, they don't trust you. They think you're lying, dishonest. I'm a witness to this. I was very, very close to people that I know that are like this, that have given up on goodness and kindness because they didn't get goodness and kindness. They get it from their own family members. They think it's cooler or think it's cute to put this negative stigma on the person, and they say it in a loving way, but nonetheless it's a negative thing. And African American people as a whole, we've learned to accept that as being our identity, and coupled with the culture. And I don't know what people might think about this, but the household that I lived in, my father was, you know, he was a religious person. He studied all the time, and I think he was the only male in the house that I grew up in other than myself. So I did what he did, and the women wasn't really into sports, and we weren't real competitive. I don't know how competitive the Nation of Islam was, because he was born and raised a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, and the son of the leader, you know, although the leader wasn't in the house with him when he was coming up. But he said that his